From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. I'm Augusta McDonnell. We'll check into the Weather Center with Jason Stiff in just a minute, but first in our top statewide story, 83. It's a disturbing number. That's how many school shootings have occurred in the United States so far just this year, and that's on track to set another record. 27 of those happened on college campuses, 56 on K-12 school grounds, and just this week, school violence was thrust back into the spotlight when a 15-year-old opened fire inside a private Christian school in Madison, Wisconsin, killing 2 people. The shooter then killed herself and several others were hurt. The motive is still unclear. But what is clear is that this number is concerning. Sadly, school shootings have become so common we rarely hear about the specifics behind most of these crimes. Our Matt Carmack now dives deeper into the issue.
Monday's school shooting in Madison, Wisconsin was the 487th mass shooting in the United States so far this year. That's more than one per day. And a local Billings mom and author is saying our society has become desensitized to this issue, and ultimately it's hurting our school children. It's any parent's worst nightmare, sending children to school for them not to return home.
To then see the news that in another part of the country, a mom who sent their kid to school, just like I sent my kid to school, is not going to have their kid come home is paralyzing.
It's a big fear for mom of 3 and Billings author Emily Romwell.
I think it's sad that they happen so often that we just kind of move on and throw our hands up and, oh, well, there's nothing we can do. And we just, move on, it feels like sometimes.
When her oldest child entered kindergarten, she wrote Listen, Run, Hide, a children's book about what to do in those terrifying circumstances. A hard conversation to have with such young children.
At the end of the day, kids are experiencing mass shootings. They might not be in the room when one is happening, but they are experiencing drills, or they are hearing about them from friends, or they will eventually grow into awareness.
These lockdown drills are a normal occurrence at schools all across School District 2. But even the drills themselves can be alarming.
When it's not planned or we don't know about it, I get a little bit concerned, but I know I'm safe in the classrooms.
Yeah.
I just think that something really bad happened and I just get scared.
I feel like our school is very secure, but people could still break in and hurt others. So I get scared too.
Romwell fears this mentality will spread to her children as well, as school shootings are on the rise in the United States, with 36 10 years ago, 52 5 years ago, and over 80 just this year. So much so that we are becoming desensitized to mass shootings.
I think it's important to realize that we do have a duty to be talking to our kids about this, and even as they grow older and grow into an adulthood, to talk to them about how other countries don't have this problem.
In Billings, Matt Carmack, MTN News.
Fortunately, Montana is not ground zero for many of those school shootings, but we are not immune. Since 1970, there have been 5 recorded school shootings in the state, with 2 of those resulting in deaths. Let's take a look. The first one happened in December 4th of 1986 in Lewistown, Montana. It happened at the high school. In that shooting, a 14-year-old student, upset over a failing grade, shot at a French teacher. 1 person was killed and 3 others wounded. The second shooting happened at Margaret Leary Elementary School in Butte on April 12th of 1994. In that case, the 10-year-old student shot at what the suspect considered to be a bully on the playground. The gunfire missed that student but struck and killed another. Former Montana Governor Steve Bullock's nephew, Jeremy, was the victim in that shooting.
Another storm is barreling along the High Line right now, bringing some limited amounts of rain, freezing rain, a little bit of mist, as well as some light snow to various parts of the Treasure State. You can see some rain showers around Kalispell. We have some more snow in the mountains. Also, some rain showers around the Bitterroot, also the Missoula Valley, more surrounding mountain snowfall. Then we head to north central and northeastern Montana. We've already had some areas of light snow around Havre, trying to get some mixes of freezing rain with the snow. We've already had a little bit of snow around Glasgow, and mainly rain showers around Treasure County and Garfield County. There's also a lot of wind blowing. Our complete 7-day forecast coming up.
And in today's leading look, a brazen robbery caught on camera last week at the Roadway Inn in downtown Billings. Here's footage of that incident. Two suspects entered the lobby about 3 o'clock Friday morning, one of them trying to steal the cash register. One of the thieves tries to force the register open and steal the money inside, but to no avail. So the suspect grabbed the entire thing, breaking it off from the computer. The hotel did file a police report. No one was hurt in that robbery, and the suspects remain on the loose. TikTok has asked the U.S. Supreme Court to block a bipartisan law that would ban the social media app in the United States. The law will go into effect on January 19th if the justices don't grant the company's request. The bipartisan measure was passed by Congress and signed into law by President Joe Biden. TikTok has challenged the law, saying it violates its free speech rights under the First Amendment. Montana also passed a law banning the popular app, which is also being challenged in court. And Montana's Electoral College delegates met at the state capitol this week to cast their ballots, voting once for president and once for vice president. With the results from the 2020 census, this is the first time in decades that Montana has had 4 electors. The 4 delegates are all Republicans, including Deborah Lamb, Theron Nelson, Becky Stockton, and Winston Bear, who was an alternate elector for Jeff Essman. The 4 each voted for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, aligning with the Montana popular vote. A fire destroyed a woodworking business in downtown Kalispell early Monday morning, while also triggering a major fiber outage. The Kalispell Fire Department reports that crews were called to Center Street and 6th Avenue West just before 3 a.m. By the time firefighters arrived, the metal building, also known as a Conset, was fully engulfed and later deemed a loss. The fire also caused a large fiber outage that stretched from the Flathead to Missoula. Montana Sky Network's crews worked all day to restore service. Also up on the Flathead, a report released this year found that Montana is the least affordable state, ranking the worst nationwide for housing affordability. The housing crisis is why the state legislature passed a bill 2 years ago to create a program that helps Montana home buyers. The Montana Community Reinvestment Plan created several programs to help local governments address housing issues. It requires county leaders to opt in, and that's something Flathead County has not done yet. MTN's Sean Wells reports.
So I'm really hoping that this bill will pass because my husband and I are in the average medium income where we could actually get a home because of this bill.
Dozens of Flathead residents voiced support for the approval of House Bill 819 in Flathead County during Tuesday morning's commissioners' meeting. The bill was passed during the 2023 legislature to allocate $56 million in state funding for homebuyer assistance for low and middle income residents. Thanks to a match through community reinvestment organization NeighborWorks Montana, $9 million in funding would go to Flathead County.
They estimate 60 to 70 families at least get home ownership who otherwise could not afford to buy a home.
The money comes from a budget surplus and passed through the legislature with bipartisan support. If Flathead County commissioners don't opt into House Bill 819, the money will be relocated to other counties across the state.
The idea with that surplus, and this was coming from the governor's office, was to use it and get it back to the people. So this is one form of getting that money back to the people and back to the residents.
Leonette Galaz lives in Columbia Falls and is the founder of Northwest Montana's Tenants United. She spoke at the meeting in support of House Bill 819 and asked the commissioners to opt into the housing program before the deadline on December 31st.
At the very least, to recommend a vote. So if they're going to vote no, then they can vote no, and we'll hold them accountable for their vote.
Brad Abel is the only commissioner who's publicly voiced his support for the approval of the housing program here in Flathead County.
I would like to see it at least come to a vote, that we put it on our agenda and move forward with the vote.
Commissioner Pam Holmquist declined comment when asked by MTN News, while Commissioner Randy Brodell says he's still undecided in reviewing the housing program. 2 commissioners must approve the opt-in as an upcoming agenda item before it can go to a vote.
Should we take taxpayer money from these taxpayers on one side and give it to people on this side for housing, and what is the value to the state of Montana and to Flathead County as we look at that? So those are tough decisions to make.
Kalispell resident Holland Mergenthaler and her husband both work at Logan Health and say they can't afford a home under the current prices in the valley. They are worried they will be priced out of their home state.
My husband's a 5th generation Montanan and our boys are now 6th generation Montanan, so it's really important to us to be able to stay near his family. His grandmother is our son's great grandma, and we want to be able to stay near her and his parents and all of his family.
In Kalispell, Sean Wells, MTN News.
A Montana woman is recovering in a rehab facility in Billings after being involved in a near-deadly vehicle crash on a dirt road near Colstrip. That crash threw Courtney Spire from her truck. It left her with multiple broken bones and lying in 20-degree weather with no way to move. In today's Your Health Matters, Charlie Kleps shares more details on the incredible rescue and her inspirational mindset as she works towards recovery.
I remember a lot of blood. My face was covered in blood.
The details are sparse.
I lost control. The last thing I saw was a barbed wire fence.
Understandably, Corey Spire doesn't remember much from her single vehicle crash from a month ago that left her fighting for her life.
Everything was dark. Maybe I can still crawl. I can drag myself to the truck so I can call for help.
Her attempts at moving unsuccessful until her service dog Lullaby came to her aid.
She came to me, and I knew God was holding her in his hands.
With the help of Lullaby, eventually a driver stopped to help. Spire suffered multiple injuries, including a broken tailbone, shattered pelvis, broken arm, and perhaps most significant, a traumatic brain injury.
So this one would be a triangle.
Which is why Spire has spent majority of the last month here at the Montana Rehab Hospital in Billings, rehabbing both her mind and her body.
She really struggled with her memory. Problem solving.
Corey was in a lot of pain. We were working on a lot of that pain management, balancing functional mobility with what absolutely needed to be done.
Those early challenges daunting, yet Spire never flinched.
It's been really amazing to see how she's overcome the injuries.
The way that she talks about her experience and how she keeps it so optimistic after everything she's been through, it's really inspirational.
Her toughness crucial. However, her most important quality is her positivity. It's easy to see in her mindset.
I had my birthday in the hospital. A lot of people said, "Oh, that's unfortunate." And I says, "No, it's not, because it means I'm alive."
And also in her actions.
And it just made me so happy. And I see people smile when they look at it.
Spires has painted these murals in the facility with her non-dominant hand, trying to spread some positivity.
The art is like a therapy for me.
And while she's got plenty of that therapy left, she remains grateful for every moment.
To all my friends and family and the strangers who stopped and the people here, I'm so grateful.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.